USCFootball.com, I'm Jack Smith alongside Connor Morrissette for instant analysis from USC's Wednesday practice of bye week number 2. No coaches today. We obviously didn't get to see practice, but the big news is we got to talk to Jayden Maiava for the first time since he was named USC's starting quarterback yesterday by Lincoln Riley. This is our second time trying to film instant. We've had some technical difficulties, so we will try and hit some of the same notes that we did the first time. But Connor, big important day as Jayden Maiava spoke for the first time.
It was great to hear from him, Jack, and he talked about how he's just here to win games, thankful for the opportunity, hopes to get the buy-in of his teammates. He just seemed all business and very likable to me. So he's someone I think the USC fan base can get behind. But as we see with the quarterback position, it's all about playing well, winning games. That's the key. And if you do that, it doesn't really matter what else you do as long as, within reason. As long as you win, that's the best thing. So Maiava understands that. He seems very excited for this opportunity. And Jonah Monheim talked about how Lincoln Riley mentioned that this is, the best move for the team. They're going to all get in line, and I think the next month, the next 3 weeks, next 3 games, that's all about getting everyone on the same page and seeing if you potentially have a quarterback for 2025.
Yeah, I think that the 2 characteristics I would use to describe Maiava speaking to us for the first time was down to earth and then just comfortable. Like, he seemed comfortable with the change, and I thought he just came off as very down to earth. Like, he appreciates the opportunity. He's taking some time to accept it and be happy about it, but he's also not relishing in it, and he really wants to get to work. It's not spending all this time celebrating himself. He mentioned his family was very excited, and he's excited and appreciative of the opportunity to be USC's first starting quarterback that's Polynesian, but he's also cognizant of the fact that he's a little bit inexperienced in college and hasn't gotten a lot of snaps with the ones at USC. So he's using this bye week and next week before the Nebraska game to really get up to speed and wants to put in the work not only to prepare himself but earn the trust of his teammates and get USC to a spot where it can win games. And I thought that was a big piece of a through line of kind of all of his answers was just winning games and getting USC in a spot it feels like it should be.
And just being excited about playing, because he didn't start the year as the starter last year at UNLV. Obviously didn't start as the starter here at USC. Getting an opportunity, he took it and ran with it last season, and we'll see if he can do the same thing at USC here. But he was asked, did that experience last year help you? And he said, maybe, but it's just about playing, getting on the field. So he's very excited for this opportunity. He mentioned how Lincoln Riley told him after they had some meetings on Monday, after they watched the film from Washington. I just keep going back to he just wants to get the buy-in from his teammates and go out and win games. He's here to win games.
He was very complimentary of Miller Moss and Lincoln Riley. He said he learned a lot from Moss and called Moss a genius on the field and Lincoln Riley a genius off the field, and those two just having such smarts and knowing offenses and knowing how to work them. So he was very complimentary of Miller Moss, said he learned a ton from sitting behind him, and his quarterback coach earlier this week said that sitting for these weeks might have been the best thing that's ever happened to him. So he's taken the opportunity as USC's backup quarterback to learn a lot, maybe some things he didn't know at UNLV, some things that are new to him in this offense, but he complimented Miller Moss a lot and said that being his backup for a while, he really did learn a lot.
He called Moss a great leader too, and that stood out to me as well, just how backing up Miller Moss, he did learn a lot, and of course playing under Lincoln Riley, he's learned a lot, and now he's ready to go. We'll see how the team responds. That's one of the other big questions here against Nebraska in a couple weeks. Is that going to provide a spark, this new quarterback change? Will we see more of the same? Will Maiava's legs change the equation? How will he gel with the receivers? It's a fun little wrinkle here to end the season. And like I said earlier, USC, if it goes well here for Maiava, maybe they found their quarterback for next season when Miller Moss started out the season really well and has had some issues since. There were some questions, would he be the guy next year? Well, Maiava, he is certainly a contender to be that quarterback next season, and if he has a good 3-game stretch here, maybe he'll lock that down. That's a fun little end to a year that hasn't been very fun this season.
And both quarterbacks, like they always do, stayed after practice, getting extra routes with receivers. And then Miller Moss stayed and talked with quarterback coach Luke Eward, and he might still be out there for a really long time. And Jayden Maiava had done his media. He left. Everybody had left the practice field, but Miller Moss was still standing there around midfield talking to Luke Eward, and the two of them were having a conversation for quite some time and looking like they were maybe ready to get some extra work in. And I think that from what we heard from Kyron Hudson and Lake McCree as well, 2 guys that have great relationships with Miller Moss, they know that he's going to respond well to being demoted, and that this certainly isn't the last that college football fans at the very least. They didn't say that, but depending on where he is, it's not the last that we will see of Miller Moss, and that he is going to take this in stride and continue to work, because that's kind of who he is.
Tells you all about Moss. He was the last player to leave the practice field today. And to your point, Jack, he might still be there. So just impressive work ethic. And whenever anyone enters the transfer portal, gets demoted or gets benched, you wonder, is the transfer portal looming? And with him, of course, we can ask that question after the season. But look at Bear Alexander. He quit right in the middle of the year. Not saying Moss, there's any chance that was going to happen, but it's always significant. And when a move like this happens, just to see that guy come out to practice, and we saw Moss, of course, come out yesterday. He's there today, and he's the last one off the field today. So that tells you a lot about a guy who's still a great leader for this team, even though he might not be playing as much as he used to.
We'll have to wait an extra week to see Jayden Maiava for the first time, as USC is on a bye this week. There is no Lincoln Riley Zoom tomorrow, and because there's no game this weekend, we won't have tunnel vision for you on Thursday or Sunday, but there is a groundbreaking event here at USC tomorrow for the new facility. Connor will be there to cover that with Lincoln Riley, Carol Folt, Jen Cohen all supposed to be there. So I would recommend taking this weekend to relax, decompress a little bit about the way that USC's season has gone, and then maybe get excited about a new era coming for USC under Jayden Maiava. Starts against Nebraska, and if he plays well, he could prove a lot over the next 3 games, and that could really change the way that USC's program moves going forward. But that's all we've got for you guys on Instant Analysis today. Thank you so much for watching. For Connor Morrissette, I'm Jack Smith. Make sure you're checking out USCfootball.com for more.